guys, Henry here. So today I thought I'd do a bit of a fun theme on which is the best city to live for under $1,000. So we've seen that quite a lot of people with the pandemic, they have the freedom to work online now, work from anywhere in the world. So just to go over and start, and you're on a budget, which is my personal favourite city to start up in and why. So I'm going to go over a few cities, a few countries. Disclaimer, it is more Asian Pacific and it is based on my experiences. So number one would be Chiang Mai, Thailand. Very cheap cost of living. You've got picturesque scenes with the hills, the mountains, friendly people, and good quality healthcare and systems in place from that. And also it's doable for under $1,000. Next city look at is still in Southeast Asia, is Penang. Now this is, we've talked about it before, an underrated city. It's got very good transportation systems. Again, Malaysia has very good hospitals. Also, it's got the MH2 visa. Probably not something you'd want to go for if you're just starting out. It's quite a bit of money. It's around $75,000 that you need to deposit into a Malaysian bank in Malaysian ringgit. But also from a visa perspective, you can get on there 3 months in, 3 months out. And if you want to set up a company, you can do it through Labuan into an offshore company. So it's quite open with that as well. And also rent, you can get a place for around $500, a good place in Penang. It's a beach city, it's got hills, it's very peaceful, it's got international flights from it as well, and also you can fly in from KL, from Penang for major international flights. Number three is Bali, Indonesia. Now this is a very popular one with nomads for quite a while, for a few decades. And rightly so. I think if you're looking at the touristy areas, it can get more expensive, but if you're out into areas that are a bit more rural in the island, I know people that have rent for $200, $150 even, for a feasible place in the remote parts of the island. Also, food can be very cheap there. You're looking at about $2 a meal. Transportation, you can get a scooter, and fuel's quite cheap there, so that's an option. One of the disadvantages is that the healthcare systems aren't that great there in Bali. Mainly they use places like Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand for the healthcare systems, and it's getting harder to just rock up there, although they are introducing nomad visas and trying to be more open and get it more official for nomads to be in Indonesia, particularly Bali. Number four is one that not a lot of people would consider, and it's a great place, great country, is New Taipai City. Now, it's one of those places which is, maybe for political reasons, underrated. It's very developed, it's got great hospitality, and it's surprisingly cheap. If you're living out of Taipei, outside of Taipei, you can get places for around $400, even $300. Just go on the site's numero. You can have a look at the cost of living in places outside Taipei, and you can really see it's quite affordable. Food is a bit more expensive than places in Southeast Asia, but it's still very reasonable to what you would have back in the West. Number five is Da Nang, Vietnam. So obviously Vietnam, great place, food fantastic. I'd say it'd be a bit hard to live in capital cities like Saigon, capital city, large cities, sorry, under $1,000 these days. Maybe possible if you're living in the outskirts, but definitely not if you're living in kind of D2, D1 area, living more the expat living, but more rural. Da Nang, it's halfway between Saigon and Hanoi. In the middle of the country, it's got cleaner air, it's not as busy, not as hectic. One of the things that most people will see when they go to Vietnam is just how manic it is. There's bikes everywhere, there's horns everywhere. Crossing the road can be a challenge at the best of times. Even if there's traffic lights or not, it's still chaotic, it's still crazy. And it's a growing problem with pollution, more so in Hanoi than Saigon. And I think Da Nang, if you're just looking for a beach place to get out, relax, but still have a kind of expat community, it fits those needs. Other areas in Vietnam, Vung Tau, it's about an hour or two away from Saigon, very relaxed, and not probably too much of expat community there, but I've known people that live there, they think it's quite relaxed, quite nice pace of life, and you don't have the kind of Vietnamese chaos that you would in the large cities. Other mentions that we'd look at is Malacca in Malaysia. Malaysia, I've talked about a lot, is underrated. It's a city that's probably not got as big as expat community as places like KL, Penang, but it's got a small expat community, and it's also very cheap. You can get places for $200 there, and it's in Malaysia, it's not too badly developed. So there's the cities that I'd go to, guys. It's just a bit of fun. Let me know if you have any different ones, or if you like or don't like the suggestions. Feel free to get in touch. Thanks, guys.